the Lovin Dubai show. Today we are joined by James Michael Lafferty, CEO of Fine Hygienics Holding. This is a brand they're pivoting to wellness at a time that I believe we need it most. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always good to be on Lovin Dubai, so thanks for having me again.
Not at all. It's always good to hear what you guys are up to, because I think in some ways you really do lead the way in terms of, I guess, employee and customer satisfaction. Pivoting towards wellness for your brand, what does that mean? Can you tell us what it means and why it's important for you as Fine Hygienics to actually do it?
Well, it was a decision that we made in early 2019. I mean, today it looks like it was, we did it because of COVID, but it was actually a quite lucky and smart move that we made in 2019. There was data run by the Gallup organization, which was looking at future trends to the year 2050. And part of my role as a CEO is to build a company that's here to sustain itself and to last. And the number one trend by the year 2050 was wellness worldwide. And the reality is despite the advances in medicine, despite all of the different technologies that have come about, we're not getting healthier. And we've already seen with COVID, a number of countries, the US included, Western Europe, the mortality rate has dramatically worsened since COVID. The US has lost 2 years off the average lifespan in 2020. And that's expected to continue in 2021. We're not getting healthier. And the life expectancy of a 60-year-old today is not dramatically different than it was 50 years ago. And so wellness is coming to the forefront, and we felt that our products were some were on a wellness platform and some were close, but that pivot would give us more of a meaning in life and a meaning to our consumers. And so we would go from a company saying we want to supply high quality hygiene paper products to being a company that wants to improve the wellness of the world. The second is a much more aspirational, much more meaningful, purposeful statement than the first. And so we made that decision, and it was a series of small decisions in some respects. We pivoted our diaper business to be more focused on skin health and putting in technologies that improve skin health. We started to sterilize our tissue products and use that as a basis to reduce the amount of germ load that's in a household and reduce the chances of infection. I mean, paper mills are dirty and wet. There's lots of dirt and it's full of steam. It's a perfect environment for germs. The average tissue product you buy in your house, when you pull a tissue out, it's already got a strong germ load. And so by sterilizing our tissues, which it's shocking, we're one of the few companies in the world to do that, it actually helps prevent an increased germ load in the house. And this can play a role in improving people's wellness through reducing infection. And so that was where it started, but then we started to look at other products. We bought a share of the Nye company, which is a healthy drinks, originated out of our region, out of Saudi Arabia, and sold all over the UAE. And then we got into other products there, obviously the masks, the gloves, all of the Fine Guard product line, which is long-term sterilization. Our hand sanitizer is a 24-hour hand sanitizer, one application, so we save people, again, protect them better than other products and reduce the chances of infection. And now we've got also some nutritional supplements that are coming in that, we are very closely working with the Medical Wellness Association out of the US. They've got lots of great doctors, amazing geniuses on human health on the committees. And sometimes they need help with commercializing products. And so, we're now selling Motiva Neuro Booster, which is honestly the only product in the world that's been shown in clinical data to have impact on Alzheimer's in a positive way. Most drugs that you get today for an Alzheimer's patient, they only slow down the progress of the disease. We actually have cognitive clinical data published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease that shows Motiva NeuroBooster actually reverses some of the cognitive decline. Now, it doesn't cure anything, it doesn't make it go away, but suddenly people that maybe had forgotten names start to remember a few more of the names, and they actually show improvement, which is uplifting to the caregivers. I mean, my mother died of that disease, and it deeply impacted me. I was a teenager when it started. She had early stage Alzheimer's, and she forgot me by the time I was 19. And it impacted me greatly. And to be able to, at the end of my career, have an impact on Alzheimer's disease, a disease that touched my family so deeply, it's hugely rewarding. And so, you know, I think the great thing is that I have a purpose. I've rarely had in my career, and I see it in our young people, their sense of purpose. We're really helping save lives and helping improve humanity and improve their health in tangible ways. And it gives you a huge sense of accomplishment that you can help people.
This is it. I mean, you briefly touched on some products there, which are genuinely game changers in the market. And it's, I think, sometimes spreading the awareness about it. So let's say, for example, during the pandemic, you launched the Fine Guard line as a response.
Yeah.
Let's just zone in on that for a second. Like, how is that a game changer to other masks that people are buying out on the street or in the city?
Well, look, a mask protects you. There's two ways a mask can protect you. The first way is to filter. And that's what most people think about. It filters it out. Now, the problem with filtration masks is that they work well, but you can't breathe in them. And so that's why people drop the mask below their nose and below their mouth. You see people wearing an N95 and it's on their chin. Now, if you don't wear the mask right, it's useless. So for me, the fundamental factor is you have to wear the mask right. Otherwise, all the labeling and all the packaging and all the claims and all the bragging about your mask, it doesn't mean anything. If your mouth and nose are exposed, then you can breathe in the droplets of virus and you can get sick. So that's the first way. It works. It's very effective. It's certainly very effective against things like dust and pollen, and people in a construction site, you have to use a filtration mask. It works. Now, technology keeps advancing, and there's been this new kind of mask come out during COVID, and it's called a deactivation mask. Now, this deactivation mask is not very good for a construction worker. If you're working in construction with high dust, it's not going to be that effective because its filtration levels are lower. But what it has is it has a treatment in the mask that grabs virus and bacteria as they pass through the mask. It grabs them at a 99.9% rate and then kills them on the fabric itself. And because all viruses and bacteria have a negative charged membrane, if you have a positively charged surface on the mask itself, it will literally grab and hold the virus and then destroy it by penetrating the membrane with positive ions. Now, it's very safe. It's a non-toxic technology. It works at a much higher rate. And then you can allow people to breathe, and you can go with thinner fabric that makes the mask more, more performing in terms of breathability. Mm-hmm. When it's breathable, then I wear it right. So you don't have the filtration, but you have the same or higher level of protection as a filtration mask. It's very good for viruses and bacteria. But if you were a construction worker and you wanted a mask, I would say don't buy that mask, because it's meant for pathogens like viruses and bacteria and fungi. It's not meant for dust and pollen and other inert ingredients that are floating in the air. So that's what we did, and that's what makes it significantly better, is it has a higher level of protection. And on top of that, you can breathe, and it's very safe. Now, the last thing that most people don't know is there was research done in 2020 by some leading medical journals in the world, looking at how long does coronavirus live on a classic surgical mask, and the answer was 7 days. So many people take this mask off, and by touching it, they're already coming in contact with live coronavirus that's on the outside of the mask. And we've done research with Starbucks in Europe where we showed the germ load on the average mask of a worker. It was tremendous. And so having a mask that actually kills the germs is a good thing because it protects you. And so when you wear a Fine Guard mask and you're taking it off and on, that mask is basically germ-free at a 99.9% level because it's killing the germs that come in contact with it. Another one is trapping it and they're stuck on the outside of the mask. So that's another benefit of our mask. And obviously we're reusable. We want to protect the environment. When I go jogging, I haven't jogged in a few months since it got hot, but when winter comes, I go jogging around the marina and you see all these masks and gloves floating in the water. It's heartbreaking. And by using a reusable mask, we protect our planet for our children and our grandchildren. So that altogether is why it's a superior mask in my view, and a mask that people should be using if they want to protect themselves and wear it properly and protect our environment.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. The amount of masks that are wasted, but also just to spread the awareness about how we can protect ourselves with wearing a mask that's kind of created for safety. Guys, if you're just joining, we're of course joined by James Michael Lafferty, CEO of Fine Hygienics Holding, and we're getting more of an insight into some of the products that you guys are doing. And I hear that you've added, which you've mentioned, a natural supplements to your portfolio.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
Well, we're very closely working with the Medical Wellness Association on our products. This is a collection of doctors around the world who are more looking at preventative medicine versus treatment-based medicine. So you have people that go to a doctor when they're sick and they go and they get a prescription or they get a medicine. That's fine. But there's also a group of doctors that are wellness-based, which is their approach is, let's keep people from ever getting sick. And let's keep people well. Instead of us being the problem solvers, let's create an environment where people stay healthy. And the whole term is preventative medicine. Now, these guys, there's a number of them that are working in the supplementation space and natural supplements. Dr. John Lewis from the University of Miami Miller School of Medicine in South Florida, Dr. Michael Hager from University of Amsterdam and in Netherlands. These guys are global leaders in the supplement and natural treatment arena of how can things in nature help us. It doesn't always have to be a chemical. It can be sometimes natural. And, they're geniuses. They come up with amazing things. They run well-run research that's peer-reviewed, that's published. I mean, it's run at major universities in a high-quality way, but they need some help in the commercialization. And there was two products that came up. The first was a neuro product, which is a combination of ingredients, including polysaccharides and aloe vera, that is taken orally. And it was showing a reduced inflammation in the human brain. And so they went and did a full-blown clinical study with severe Alzheimer's patients. It was a 1-year study. And they did cognitive testing on these folks. They did full research and full protocol on Alzheimer's patients. And the shocking thing is that this is the only product in clinical data that's ever shown improvement in Alzheimer's patients. Now, it wasn't like that it made people come back to their normal selves, but it improved the cognitive performance with a continual usage of this product. And it's a natural product. I mean, it's polysaccharides, which is a major ingredient in rice bran, and a bi-aloe product, which is a foundation of aloe vera. It's all natural. It's not a chemical. It's not dangerous. And, it's easy to supplement. I can't believe the number of people that I've had taking it who just say their mental acuity has improved. And so there was a number of byproducts that came out of it, which was increased stem cell production, which maybe can help improve brain function, reduced inflammation, which inflammation is the backbone of all disease in the human body. When you talk about cancer, it's a result of inflammation. When you talk about Alzheimer's, it's inflammation. Even COVID, when you hear of people passing away of COVID, what would they say killed them? A cytokine storm, which is a wave of inflammation. So inflammation is the foundation of nearly all major diseases in the human body. And so reducing inflammation is a good thing. So that's the first product. And that was designed out of the Netherlands, in Holland, out of the University of Amsterdam. And, it's still being researched by the students. I've seen data, on this product. It's amazing. It's quite amazing, especially for brain function. Then the second product.
You're selling it to me. I'm sold.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting orders all over the world. And again, having had my mother have Alzheimer's and then to die from Alzheimer's, I know the desperation that caregivers have around, I'll do anything to help my mother or father or grandfather or grandmother. And so, it really gives me a lot of joy to help. The second is a curcumin turmeric. Now, you hear that and you say, well, that's not a big deal. I see that all over the health food stores. But this is where you get in the difference between just making money and doing the right thing. Curcumin is not absorbed by the human body very well. It's basically excreted. So its bioavailability, or the amount available when you take a capsule of it, is less than 2%. The rest is just going out. And it's long been identified as an incredible anti-inflammatory product that has a number of health benefits, including immune system function. And so what this doctor did in Netherlands, Dr. Hager, he figured out a way to micelize the curcumin. What that means is that he protects it, because when it hits the stomach acid, it gets destroyed. It protects it so it can pass to the small intestine, where it's then absorbed. So the absorption of this product is off the charts, and you only need like a couple of drops. And so we sell it in a little bottle that's like the size of a glue bottle. You only add 6 or 10 drops in your drink once a day. And, you know, again, I can't even tell you the number of people in Dubai have written to me, because inflammation manifests itself in lots of ways, including pain, non-specific pain in the joints, including, I had a guy a couple weeks ago say to me, I'm 40 years old, I play football once a week, and then I can't play for 4 days, I'm so sore. And I told him, the odds are you probably have chronic inflammation in your body. You have to bring that down. And, you know, as you get older, your body doesn't handle inflammation as well as it used to. He started taking these drops. He's now sending me all these WhatsApp messages. I can play football every day now. I'm not sore in the morning. This stuff's amazing. It's just getting inflammation under control. And the amount of people that I see on the streets suffering from chronic inflammation, why do you can't get up in the morning? Why do you have no energy? Why do you hurt all the time and you can't explain why? You get up and your joint, everything hurts. This is all inflammation. Chronic inflammation is really becoming the modern day, you know, the 21st century illness that many people suffer from. So getting that under control, you can take pharmacological solutions like a Voltaren, anti-inflammatories, but there's also impact on liver, kidney function. You know, there's side effects to taking chemistry. This is a natural product made of of turmeric, and you know, which is the foundation of curry. When you're ordering a chicken curry or a butter chicken in an Indian restaurant, this is the foundation. And it's been proven to have very strong anti-inflammatory properties. The challenge was getting it absorbed by the body, and these guys figured out how to do it. And so our little bottle, you know, is enough for a month or a month and a half, and you're just adding drops and it's done.
It's so incredible that you guys just seem to be at the forefront of, I guess, technology for supplements and technology for different types of health and well-being. I know that you guys are also working on a longevity tea.
Yeah, we're working on a longevity tea that will launch very soon. I mean, this is, you know, I know it sounds, and I'm a biased audience, of course, but it's the best story I've ever heard in my life, is that tea. So three years ago, there was this old guy in Lebanon. They said he was 124 years old. It showed up on Facebook. And they say, this guy's 124 years old, and he's got like some young kids that he apparently fathered, and it shows him chopping wood and kind of like jogging around the neighborhood in this village in Lebanon. And he says, the secret to my health is I brew up this tea every day that my grandfather taught me how to make from using various herbs off the mountainsides of Lebanon. Now, our company is based in Amman, Jordan. That's not far from Beirut. And I tell this guy working for me, Elian Nukul, he's a superstar young executive, part of the family that owns our company. And I tell him, look, why don't you get on a plane and go find him? And I thought it was going to take like 2 days. It took 4 months to find the guy. And he really existed. And he was in this remote village on the Syrian border of Lebanon, Syria. And now we dig into his paperwork. He's not 124, but he was 108.
Okay.
And he had a 7-year-old son from his like 4th wife. And, you know, so this guy fathered a child at 101. That's pretty good. You know, that's pretty impressive. And he was definitely very spry, and he would climb the trees and pick the leaves and do all this on his own. At 108, he's climbing trees and walking up mountains and his brain is completely there. So he teaches and shows these guys how to do the tea, and they bring back the ingredients. And then we sat down with a group of doctors and we looked at the ingredients, which no one has ever made a tea with. It was like eucalyptus tree bark and carob seed, and, it's all these different ingredients. And so we looked at the data. There was data on all of that showed some health benefits like blood pressure on this one and that. But the mix together, nobody knew. And then we sat with the doctors and they said, you know what you should do? You should add the micellized curcumin, and you should replace the sugar with Manuka honey, and you should do this and this and this. And so we replaced and we added and we kind of modified the whole formula and created our own formula. And then we say the only chance we have is now we have to run a clinical study. And so we financed one of the biggest clinical studies in the supplement industry worldwide. It took a year, and we ran these tests. And when the results came back, the doctors that were running this study were floored. We had significant reduction in inflammation in their body, tremendous reduction in inflammation, statistically significant. A whole subgroup of it had improved cardiovascular function. A whole subgroup had improved kidney function, improved liver function, reduced stress, cortisol, reduced stress hormone levels. And, these people, their verbatims are, I feel so much better. I love this. And again, it was about reducing inflammation for many people. And the funny thing about this tea was I thought it would taste like garbage. I mean, I kind of lived in that myth. Anything that tasted good was unhealthy, and anything that tasted bad was healthy. It's pretty good. I mean, in fact, it had a certain thirst quench to it that I would prefer to drink this at the gym than anything else. And so we developed it. It's taken a long time because we can't even find these ingredients. I mean, it's one thing to pick a couple handfuls off of a mountain in Lebanon, but now that you have to commercially source it, it's taken us 3 years to get this together. Now it's launching in the next month and a half.
Do we have a date for when it's going to be in stores for UAE customers?
No, not yet. It'll be online probably first. It'll be online as a first step. It's called Eon Longevity Tea. And the reason longevity is the conclusion of the clinical study, which was written by doctors, said that this product would extend human life. It, statistically would extend the lifespan of a human by reducing inflammation and having all these other positive benefits versus drinking certainly an unhealthy beverage, but even drinking a neutral beverage, out there in the world. This is probably one of the most healthiest beverages you could drink. And so we'll be launching it by end of August. It'll start online while we're getting all the registrations in place. But it's very exciting. We've spent well over $1 million in development, in bringing this to market and testing and research. And so it's very exciting because it can go to the mass, and it can.
I love the inception and the story and how it came about. It's truly incredible to go directly to the source and to bring that to market in a way that works. But we're talking about products, right? We're talking about products that protect us, potentially save our lives. In terms of consumer behavior, in terms of me going to the store, am I more aware of all of these products? Should I be more aware because of the pandemic? Am I a more conscious consumer, in your opinion? I
think people are, the data we're seeing is people are more conscious. Now, there's obviously a deluge of products coming into the market, and there's many claims on packaging that are spurious at best. I mean, they don't mean like saying something is low fat. I mean, I think we now know that that's not the foundation of obesity. It's not, fat is not the foundation. It's actually, high elevated insulin levels that lead to obesity. And so, people are putting things on their packaging like low fat. It's hitting the casual consumer, and they say, okay, I want to buy that. But in reality, they're not, these are claims that are highly questionable. I mean, I'll give you another claim that's questionable. When it says contains real juice, that claim, I know from I work for Coca-Cola, I know the beverage industry, that is a claim that's put on typically very, very poor products in terms of health benefits, a high sugar content. And then they put a little bit of juice in, 10%, to say contains real orange juice, but the rest of it is sugar water. And we know that that's causing obesity, it's causing issues. And so the big thing I encourage on consumers is you have to become self-aware. of what's out there. And unfortunately, the old statement that I grew up with, which is let the buyer beware, you have to beware. And, we've had numerous discussions that, we're going to try and do the right thing and be ethical and honest in the marketplace. There was a long debate to leave the sugar in there because the old man put sugar in. And, and I said, I'm not putting ionized sugar into a drink and contributing to the problem. I mean, part of the obesity issue is sugars, sugar-filled drinks, because the absorption rate of a liquid is much higher than a solid. So when you drink a sugar drink, that it hits your bloodstream at a much faster rate than it would if it was something that had to be digested by the digestive tract. I mean, the liquid is absorbed right away in the stomach, and then it's elevating your sugar levels in the blood. And that's leading to a whole chain reaction of many things, including inflammation, that coming with elevated insulin. Hyperinsulinemia is a global problem. People having elevated insulin. And you see it walking, especially the diets in our region, all the bread, all the carbohydrates, you see it with people. They've got constantly elevated insulin levels, and that's leading to type 2 diabetes and all kinds of issues.
So you would say, yeah, continue.
So my point really is I encourage consumers to ask questions, to look with a skeptical eye on things, and to also self-educate themselves on reading nutritional labels. I mean, there's so many teas out there that will claim to be healthy. This contains real green tea. Read the label. It'll be 150 calories. It's full of sugar. Look at the amount of carbohydrates. This is all marketing. And unfortunately, it's allowed to be done, but you've got to look at the labels. The reason we bought Nye was I was in a gym. I was in Fit Republic, and they have a little cafe there. I go in the cafe and I know how to read the label, and I pick up this Nye tea. I've never seen it before. And the calories per serving is 38. I go, wow, this is really, and so I start reading the label, and I fell in love with the brand and the company. And I went back to our company. I said, let's buy part of this. Let's meet these people, because this is a real healthy beverage. There's a lot of people they put on a shroud and they say, I'm healthy. They're not healthy. They're not healthy. They're not healthy at all. And I've had many challenges, even my time in the beverage business, where I challenged R&D people on the physiology of the human body. And I say, let's take like a diet drink. They say it's 0 calories. You think it's healthy. It's phosphoric acid. And what's the pH of phosphoric acid? 3, 2.5. The human body runs at a pH of 7.365, which is alkaline. If you drink one diet drink, to neutralize the acid in your body, you need to drink 30 glasses of water to get back your pH back to normal. And this impacts people. Our organs operate at a certain pH. And when you change that pH, the organs don't operate as well. And you don't feel as good. You have these days, we both have them, when you wake up and you don't feel good and you don't know why. These can be issues of inflammation. This can be issues of body pH. This can be, there's lots of potential explanations, and it can come back to diet. Diet is really the centerpiece of health and what we put into our bodies. And as we've gone to more fast food and more eating convenience, I mean, people have lost it. You have American kids that you say, when's the last time you had a vegetable? And they'll say, I don't know. I mean, it could be months. Their whole diet is processed carbohydrates and meat. That's not healthy. They're missing so many nutrients. They're missing the pH. They're missing the issues. So, I'm a big proponent that we've got to get our diets back in a good place.
100%. I think you've dished out some hard truths and a massive reminder, guys, to read the label. That was James Michael Lafferty, CEO of Fine Hygienic Holdings. Thank you so much. Some of the products that you guys are bringing are really kind of game changers. So we're excited to, as always, see the journey that you guys are taking.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And please look for these products when they hit the shelves.
This is it. The longevity tea is first on my list. Looking forward to it. And also anything to reduce inflammations. Guys, that is it for us on the Lovin Dubai show. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you very much, James. And that is it. See you tomorrow morning, same time, same place.